Hi fight fans, welcome back again to another episode of the African Fighters. And on today's episode, we'll be giving you a roundup of everything happening in the world of combat sports. Stay with us. Alright, having departed the world's premier mixed martial arts promotion, following failed negotiations over a new deal, the Predator has now found a home in the Professional Fighters League. The Cameroonian signing was announced earlier this week, along with a number of details regarding the terms of the agreement. But despite the Predator being set to remain outside of the cage for the next year, this hasn't stopped some PFL athletes from throwing their names in the hat for his first MMA outing. Ngannou's PFL deal reportedly includes a stipulation that will see all of his opponents earn at least $2 million, and having won half of that figure with championship success in 2022 season, the light heavyweight champion Robert Whittaker is seemingly after that payday. He took to his Instagram story following news of Ngannou's arrival to shoot his shot for a potential champ vs champ clash in 2024. Francis Ngannou's current ambitions have taken a step closer to reality this week, courtesy of the long-awaited confirmation of his future plans. The multi-fight deal has seemingly given Francis Ngannou a number of terms and benefits that were dismissed by the UFC. Perhaps most notable, however, is the freedom to box. Throughout his contractual dispute with the UFC, the Predator has frequently expressed interest in crossing over to the ring. As part of his PFL agreement, Ngannou has the freedom to do so and is expected to debut in the sport later this year. However, one notable former boxing champion has seemingly taken offense at Ngannou's ambition. Following news of his PFL signing, Ngannou honed in on his desired boxing opponent for later this year, labeling a bout with Joshua in Africa as the ideal scenario. According to Billy Joe Saunders, a former WBO middleweight and super middleweight champion, the Cameroonian is biting off far more than he can chew. Sanders' view appears to be shared by some others in the combat sports community, with many dismissing any chance of Ngannou finding success with the leading heavyweights in the sport. 2 UFC and 3 PFL fighters have been issued suspensions by the Nevada State Athletic Commission for using illicit substances. NSAC has handed suspensions to former PFL heavyweight champion Bruno Capelloza, PFL newcomer Christophe Jocto, and PFL featherweight Alejandro Flores for using prohibited drugs under the USADA. Capelloza has been suspended for 9 months for using drostanolone. Jocto will be sidelined for 6 months for using clomiphene, and Flores will miss 6 months for furosemide. Flores and Capelloza's recent win have been overturned to no contest. Also, UFC fighters Darius Flowers and Kyla Phillips have also been suspended, but Iridium Sports Management, who represent both Flowers and Phillips, claim that they were both victims of tainted supplements. Both Flowers and Phillips tested positive for Ostarine and have been suspended for an undisclosed amount of time. They could potentially appeal the suspension in coming weeks. Alright, reports have emerged that Francis Ngannou could allegedly have made more money in the UFC than in the PFL if he had managed to defeat current heavyweight champion John Jones. Ngannou was expected to face John Jones for his next heavyweight title defense. Talk of a fight between Jones and Ngannou persisted almost immediately after Ngannou first earned the belt at UFC 260. UFC President Dana White claimed that they offered Ngannou the most lucrative deal for any heavyweight. Although Ngannou made it a point to prioritize incentives over a big money contract, money was never a focus for Ngannou's free agent ventures, and his new PFL contract shows that remains the case as he looks ahead to this new chapter of his combat career. Reigning UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya will have a vested interest in the UFC 290 pay-per-view on July the 8th at the event, which is set to headline this year's edition of International Fight Week. Adesanya's next opponent and first challenger to his second reign is expected to be decided shortly after the last airbender returned to the throne with a knockout win of Alex Pereira. The promotion announced the title eliminator between former champ Robert Whittaker and rising star Dricus Du Plessis. For Adesanya, the desired result will see the South African upset the odds against the Reaper ahead of a heated God match later this year. But the Nigerian expects it to be a tough task for Du Plessis During a recent video uploaded to his YouTube channel, Adesanya looked ahead to and broke down the crucial 185-pound clash between his former opponent and recent verbal sparring partner. The last stylebender suggested that Whittaker will have the advantage in most aspects of the fight and that Du Plessis must make it an ugly affair if he is to have any hope of getting his hands raised. While Du Plessis is seemingly being doubted by a sizable portion of the MMA community as he gears up to face his toughest test till date, he is yet to taste defeat in the UFC and has constantly exceeded the expectations of many. Former MMA fighter Leigh Hancock is looking at 40 months behind bars for his brutal assault on ex-girlfriend Fallon Bramall. Hancock put Bramall through a 10-hour ordeal during which she was viciously beaten, and by the end of the attack she had sustained a variety of injuries, including a broken orbital socket, a broken nose, multiple bite marks over her face and body, and a broken jaw. The sentence for Hancock's crimes were made official late last month at Derby Crown Court, 24 of the month serving as punishment for making death threats, and the other 16 coming for his assault charges. The ex-cage fighter has also received 1 additional month for property damage. The attack occurred last summer and even saw Hancock force his ex-girlfriend to fix him up a sausage sandwich in the midst of the hellish ordeal. Alright, that's it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave your comments in the comment section. See you next time.
Louder! We are Africans! Come on, Africans!